Hey everyone, welcome back to a new vlog. Today is going to be a fun personal project I'm working on. Some close friends of ours are having their first baby and we actually bought, so they had a baby shower. We originally planned on giving them this boat shelf for the baby's room because the way that they decorated the room, the boat shelf just goes like perfectly with that, like that whole theme that they have. And that was supposed to be our baby shower gift, but we didn't get the baby shower gift until like the day before, so I didn't have time to redo it, and so it has been sitting in the carport. It's time to refresh this boat shelf and make it beautiful and fresh and new, and something that I feel that they will cherish for many years to come with their little one. So that's what I'm working on today. I have a lot of work ahead of me because it is a very tedious job, and I want to put a lot of love and passion behind this because I love gifting things like this that I like worked hard on with my hands. So anyway, let me show you what I'm working with and then we'll get started. Okay, so here is the boat shelf currently. It's actually a great size. It's about 4 foot tall and it's freestanding, but I think because of it being so light, it's definitely something that they're gonna have to mount. So just to make sure it's secure to the wall. It's very lightweight though. I mean, I can even lift it like with one hand. So the game plan is to obviously clean it because it's a little dirty, but I'm going to fill in all the little cracks that we can see here. There's one down here at the bottom. I'm going to fix this little area right here at the top. Hold on, sorry. I'm trying to get it to focus. Right there, I need to fix that. And then what I would love to do is paint this area that's blue here. I want to do it like a dark glossy brown. And then I want to have a pinstripe right here next to that going down. I don't know why, but I feel like that is the vision. Just like brown and then a pinstripe going down. And then I think I'm going to paint this area at the bottom brown. And then the rest is going to be bright white. So this will kind of work really well with the theme that they have for his room. It's bright white, there's green. His bed, like his bed frame is like a wood color. So I think doing the brown here is going to help tie that together. The bright white is going to match with the walls and it won't look like cream. I didn't want to do like a cream color, although I would love to do cream. I think it might stand out to yellow against the white walls that they chose. So yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and get started. I'm gonna start filling the areas that need to be filled. I'm gonna have to run and grab some paintbrushes because I have 0 right now. I don't even know where all my paintbrushes are. So I need to go grab some of those. And so while the wood filler is drying, I'll grab some like sandpaper. And what else do I need to get? Sandpaper, just some paintbrushes, and I think that'll be good. I already have everything else I need on hand. I have the brown paint, wood filler here, right here. I have the sealant I'm going to use, which is going to be a semi-gloss. I got some spackling just in case. I prefer this over this. Not sure just yet. And then I'm going to use the bright white from Beyond Paint because I already have this on hand, and this is a really pretty white color. Lots of tape. I even have another roll over there behind me that I can use. So that is the game plan. One last little overview of what it looks like before I get started. Originally, I was going to use some wood filler to fix some of the little imperfections, but the wood filler I had was completely dried out. And I was trying to complete this project because I had been putting this off for so long. It was time to get it done. And I knew that the spackling was going to work for what I needed it to do, just fill some of the holes and gaps. And once it was fully dry, sanded down and painted, it would do the job. So I used some spackling, filled a lot of the holes and imperfections. The goal was not to make it look absolutely perfect because I feel like old boat shelves like these typically have like more of a rustic style, so I was trying to keep that but also make it look fresh and new. Like it having some imperfections was okay, but I wanted it to at least be freshly painted and stuff like that. So like I said, I just filled some of the areas that were really bad, that were like chipped and stuff, and then we're gonna jump right into taping it off because I am gonna do the area that's blue. I'm actually gonna paint that like a really rich dark brown. When I think of like a boat, I think of really glossy paint. Every time you see a boat, you see glossy because it's in the water and stuff, and you don't want it to obviously be matte because then the water will mess it up. So I always see like super glossy, really rich, dark colors, especially on the bottom. And then typically the top area where all the white is like a really pretty cream or a white. And so I decided to go with a white and then do the brown bottom just because I felt like it was gonna match the baby's room better. So they actually have a green accent wall, but it's like John Deere green. And then all the rest of the walls are white. Baby's crib is brown, like I said. And they even have like a sign for his name that is like brown. And it has like a little bit of a dark gray, I believe, as well. So in my mind, I kept thinking, just keep it neutral. The worst case scenario, it doesn't match perfectly, but it's like still a neutral color that will grow with the baby. So that's why I ended up going with just brown and white. Super classic and simple, but sometimes that's the way to go. I did end up taping off this area, so right along the blue line, I used some masking tape, and what I'm going to do is once I get all the tape in place, I am going to go ahead and paint it white. So I'm going to paint right over that tape with the white paint, and then once it's dry, then I'm going to paint it with the brown, and this is what's going to give you a super clean, sharp line. I hope it turned out okay. I kind of wonder if I should mix this with a little bit of a dark color. Nope, I'm just gonna go with my gut. Trust the process, friends. Trust the process. Oh my gosh, I think it's gonna be so cute. I'm so excited. I know that kind of looks like poop brown, but I promise it dries dark like this. I don't think the back necessarily had to be painted, but I didn't want it to look like incomplete, so I went ahead and just threw some paint on the back as well, just so that way the back matched. It's actually going to get mounted to the wall because, as you can see the way I'm like handling it, this boat shelf is extremely light, so we don't want it to, you know, fall over or anything like that as the baby grows. So I did tell them to make sure that they put a screw through it to like mount it to the wall so it doesn't like tip over, because it will tip over easily if it's not mounted to something. So they'll definitely have to do that. So no one's going to see the back except for me and you, but I just didn't want it to look incomplete. I also did make a slight mistake. I wanted to mention this because I painted the brown because I got excited and I couldn't wait to like actually get the brown painted, but I should have painted the entire thing white first and then did the brown line, and I'll explain in just a little bit. You'll see how like my sharp, beautiful line ends up getting messed up a little bit, but that's only because of the process. I don't know what I was thinking. You know, you live and learn. But while I was waiting for the back end of the brown to dry, I went ahead and started working on painting the shelves. I knew this was going to take at least 2 to 3 coats just because of the imperfections and how porous the wood was. I knew it was going to soak in this paint like nothing, and it sure did. After 1 coat, you couldn't even tell I painted it. So I ended up having to do 3 coats total. But the paint I was using was drying pretty quick, so once I got to the bottom, I was able to just hop right back up to the top shelf and go in with another coat. And I don't know if you're supposed to do that, but that's just how I did it, so I'm just being honest. And then after like what felt like years painting, I'm ready to pull off the tape. Now, I didn't paint the sides yet, so keep that in mind. I had never painted the sides. This was just the insides of the shelves that I had painted white at this point. The area along the side, I still have to pull off the tape, and then I'm going to have to paint a new line, and that's where I messed up, because then I had to tape off the brown area, and guess what happened? The paint wasn't cured or sealed, so then the tape ended up peeling off some paint, but I'll share that in a little bit. But the hack did work. So after painting the tape white first and then brown, you can see how clean and beautiful the line is. There was only a couple like imperfections, but I just took a tiny little paintbrush and fixed those after I add the white. So I'll get to that. I couldn't decide if I wanted to paint the bottom white or brown, and ultimately I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna go for it. I ended up painting the bottom base brown because I felt like, I don't know, when I turned it to its side, I felt like a boat would have like, it would make more sense for the back of it to be the same color as the bottom. I don't know. That's how I ended up doing. I don't know if this looks great or not. In my opinion, it does. I think it looks fine. It was a little bit of a challenge to get this line super smooth because at the bottom here, there's so many like grooves and stuff where just how the boat shelf is made. It's not made out of the best wood in the world, and it just had already imperfections. So trying to get these lines super crisp was difficult, and I did find that it was easier just going slow with an angled brush versus taping. When I tried to tape, there was a lot of bleeding that was happening even when I did the paint hack. So just going real slow and steady with the paintbrush was the way to go. The paint is taking way longer than I expected for it to dry, so I'm just wrapping up my paintbrushes into some Walmart bags. And while we wait, it's noon. I've already had lunch, so I'm actually gonna go grab a coffee, and then we're gonna hit a thrift store, and maybe we'll find a couple like cute baby things to add to the shelves to style it, just as like inspiration to them. They don't have to actually use it if they don't want to, but I always find like super cute baby things at thrift stores, like little books and stuff, and I thought that would just be like the perfect addition to the shelf whenever they see the initial reveal, instead of them just looking at the shelf being empty. So I can't do any of the pinstripes until it's completely dry, so it's gonna take a while. It's probably gonna be like a 2-day process, I'm sure, by the time I paint everything and then let it seal, or paint everything, let it dry, and then seal it. So let's go shopping. Okay, I ended up having to go pick up the kids from school, so I did not get to go thrifting. I pulled up and literally had to back out and leave. So it's fine, it is what it is. So now the paint is dry, so I'm gonna go ahead and finish working on the boat. Okay, so what ended up happening is I added the green tape along the brown edge now, so that way I could paint the front of the boat shelf white. And what I messed up. So this green tape is like extra sticky. It's actually meant for textured walls, so it sticks better. So when I went to go peel off the green tape, it sure enough peeled up the brown paint. So then I had to repaint the brown. But instead of boring you with all that, what I did was I just went in with a tiny paintbrush and touched up the areas that peeled, and you couldn't tell. So that's what I ended up doing off camera the next day, because I was honestly like disappointed. But anyway, now let's move on to sealing it. Hey y'all, I actually just got back from my walk. I am gonna go ahead and seal the boat. It's been a couple days. I've let the paint fully cure. So I'm gonna seal the boat, and then I'm actually gonna run to the store in just a little bit and grab a couple things for it, so I can wrap up that project and go ahead and gift that to them. So really excited about that. I do have some polyacrylic here that I'm gonna use as a sealant. This is the clear semi-gloss. I actually really love a semi-gloss. I think it like gives the perfect amount of shine to where like it's easy to clean. It looks really nice, looks like kind of professional, but at the same time it's not glossy to where it looks fake and like a little overdone. So I'm gonna go grab a paintbrush, and we're gonna go ahead and apply that sealant. Okay, so I'm using the polyacrylic. I've used this for many years. I love this sealant. It works really well. But the key is slow and steady. You'll notice I'm actually applying it a little too fast. This is too fast, but I know how to fix it when it gets bubbles. But if you're not someone who's worked with this product before, if you actually like paint it on too quickly, you're gonna get little white bubbles in it, and they will not go away. Slow and steady wins the race. Now, if you do end up getting white bubbles in it, don't panic. All you have to do is like super gently rub your paintbrush over it, and it'll pop those bubbles for you. Just a little hack in case you ever rub too hard like I'm doing here. You'll notice like once I get going, I slow down a bit, but I was really just trying to apply it quickly so that way I can kind of move on with the next project. But like I said, if you are new to using polyacrylic, slow and steady wins the race. Now, I do have a little bit of disappointing news for you, and I'm really sorry. So I ended up going shopping with my friend, Brandy. We went, it was like kind of spur of the moment. We went out to lunch, and we finished lunch really quick. So we're like, oh, she's like, do you need anything? And I'm like, well, technically, I really do need some baby stuff to add to the shelf. So her and I went to Belle's Outlet. We went shopping, and I ended up finding some really cute stuff for the baby shelf. However, at some point in time, I came home, styled the shelf, filmed on my phone for like a short form video, and forgot to show you guys on my camera. I didn't film it on my camera. So there's no like after shot of how the boat looked. I am so disappointed in myself that I did not film this. And guess what? We went out to dinner with them on Friday. Was it Friday? I think it was Friday night. And we gave them the boat already, the boat shelf. So they already have it, and I didn't get an overview. So I do have a photo, and I do have like, I have some footage, but it's not in the landscape like YouTube format. So I hope you guys don't mind, but something's better than nothing in my opinion. But I did just want to say I love how it turned out. I was originally going to add a pinstripe. I think I mentioned that at the beginning of the video. Decided against it just because I didn't want to mess it up after already dealing with the tape issue with it peeling the paint off. And I think that it looks so cute as is. And stuff like this, gifting somebody something that I made with my hands or I created with my hands is just so much more enjoyable to me than like going to the store and buying something. So this was such an honor to create this for them and do a makeover. They absolutely loved it. So that was great. Y'all will have to let me know in the comments below what you think. Here's just a quick before and after. And once again, thank you for being here watching. I hope you enjoyed the vlog and I'll see you in my next video. Bye y'all.